All right, welcome back to That's Some Cheese, part of the Vendetta Sports Podcast Network. This is actually an emergency episode, not marking this as an episode at all. There's no producer here. Emergency episode. Bryan Tann has officially quit the Tanndemonium Sports show. He's quit Vendetta Sports Media. He's quit anything associated with this company. So Max Everett's here and Chickster's here. And I figured this would be a good little trio because Chickster goes a little too far, like sometimes he needs to shut it just a little bit.
What?
No. We love you, Chickster. There's a reason why you're here. You bring the shit talking to the table, but sometimes, maybe you shouldn't cross a line that you do. So Max is here to bring it down just a little bit so we find our stride.
Okay. All right. Go ahead. Sorry. My bad. I shit talk. That's fine. But
I know.
But you know what? I'm actually a little upset with you because
Me?
during that whole cheese episode, you only brought me up once. Everyone was talking about Gavin, but I was the one that was keeping that shit going. I was going,
so was Garrett, but I wasn't praising him left and right either.
Not really. Garrett put like 3 comments in there.
I was just like, oh yeah, I'm having popcorn watching this. Like, Chickster was leading.
Thank you.
Did you think you deserved more credit?
Oh yeah, 1,000%. Gavin started the fire, but Chickster just like
I was the gasoline on that. I was the gasoline.
Well, then somebody took my advice. I said to Gavin, if somebody wants to pour gasoline on the fire, go right ahead.
Exactly.
You did it.
That's exactly.
Well, no one needs to tell me that. I'll do it regardless.
I know.
I'll do it regardless. Like that's what it is. But
his very own arsonist.
I don't know. Like I think you pretty much when I was watching Cheese, I think you pretty much hit it. Like, you know what? Who are you to say that no one can talk shit to you? That's basically what Bryan Tann very comes off that way. He's like, hey, no one, I can talk shit about anyone. Bro, he went on a whole rant on Tanndemonium about me and my hair or whatever.
I know.
And I'm like, cool, whatever, right? I'm cool with that. I'm gonna talk shit. I'm expecting you to talk shit. That's like, I think we've all played sports and we all talk shit about sports and stuff. Fuck, I'm gonna talk shit regardless. I'm a competitor. I talk shit. That's what it is. I expect that shit back. But don't come out here and start talking shit and then not expect not to get shit talked back. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
We don't have any room at this company for a person that can dish it out but can't take it.
Oh, that's horrible.
He is literally a carbon copy of All Day Jerk Off Crew. He's the exact same guy.
Which is funny. That's tough. He was talking in that situation like he was one of us. Like he was on very much.
Those two hate each other. They are the exact same.
That's why they hate each other.
That's exactly why.
They exist because they are so self-absorbed. It can't work. It can't work. Tanndemonium will go on. It will just go on as its own thing because
that's actually not true because he quit and also deleted his Twitter account, deleted the Tanndemonium VSM account. That account no longer exists.
Why are you just going to shoot yourself in the foot for?
It was because of the bio. It was because of the bio. That's
what it tells me. He sees Jack Log getting all these view numbers. He's just going to quit and never do sports again. He's so embarrassed. He's never going to do sports again. That's my opinion.
He doesn't know how to fucking talk sports in the first place. But that's my personal opinion.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how you. I mean, he tweets 120 times during a fucking Steelers game, and I shit you not, he has no idea what the fuck he's talking about. Like, I can't, like, I read it, I'm like.
I watched his whole episode because, Max, what did I say? And this was before he quit. Max, what did I specifically talk to you about before he quit yesterday?
How bad his show was.
How bad and unwatchable his show was.
Yeah. I mean, it was more for the benefit of the show more than anything. It was kind of like, well, cut this shit out because it's boring. And that's the thing, it's boring. I don't need to watch Bryan Tann talking about sports because I can watch someone who actually knows sports talk about it. I can watch Shaquille O'Neal talk about it for just as long. And he's actually been there. So there's a discrepancy. It's kind of it's talking like you are something without being something. And it's
kind of a shame because I do like his voice. I think he does have like a good speaking
voice.
Got a good
speaking voice?
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's the thing. But he needs someone to feed him lines because doing it off his own back, he's not creatively there. He's talented, so he'd be considered voice talent. but there's no
He can
creative.
He can speak very well.
Yeah. He's so eloquent in the way he speaks and stuff, but creatively, it's dead. It's dead. And there's
I
loads of
watched
people
the entire 2 hours of that show because I truly, what's ever going on in this company, I need to know what's going on in this company. So I forced myself to watch the whole thing. I thought it was truly fucking awful to the point where I had to ask multiple opinions because it's like, okay, you're going to get rid of Jackson Law. This is the new show. I need to know what it's like. It was so bad. It was totally unwatchable. Like I had to talk to other people about it.
I didn't think Mark Izzo was bad. I thought Mark Izzo.
He's on the list. Actually, he's on the list. I actually feel bad for Mark Izzo because out of that entire show, he brought up the best points, and he said maybe 2 or 3 things.
I was like I watched just a little bit of the NFL portion, a little bit, and I mean he was fine. Like he didn't, he was animated.
Like he's put together and looks like he's going to be an asset for this company.
I don't know, that was a good start. I haven't seen anything about Mark Izzo yet. I know I did his training,
let's go back to that episode because I sent Chickster this portion because I wanted him to do a post on it because it was so ridiculous.
It was a reach. And I know I like to reach, but that was a reach.
It's past a reach. This idea that Colin Kaepernick belongs in the NFL is so fucking goddamn stupid.
No, that was different. That's not. You say QB drama, and I was like, I didn't see that part, but I definitely agree with you.
This man literally went on his own show and said there would be a quarterback controversy between Derek Carr and Colin Kaepernick. What?
Yeah, but he's like, if Derek Carr got injured, and that's not true, but it's whatever. Like I said, that's just Exhibit A. That
it wouldn't matter if Derek Carr had one fucking leg; he would still be better than Kaepernick. What are we talking about?
Well, from my understanding of NFL, which I'll admit is basic, it's casual fan watching.
If you're gonna argue the Kaepernick stuff, argue if he's better than Blaine Gabbert. Don't talk to me if he's better than fucking Derek Carr. That's
Kaepernick. Message is bigger than his actual footballing ability. That's the thing. His name is only carried, and it's not because he's a good footballer. It's because his message in football is good, and that's all it is. So
he had worse numbers than Blaine Gabbert his last year in San Francisco.
What
he
said it.
Talking about
it's no talent.
Yeah,
he's just because Kaepernick's a name, so that's all he's done it for.
Crazy. I have a couple things on my list. Let's just go through it. I wanted to compare him to All Day Jerkoff crew because they are the same. And I figured it would only be fair if we brought back the game that we used for him, fair or foul. Now, I only have one thing on this list, but fair or foul, if you're going to fucking throw a temper tantrum and quit because Gavin told you to update your Twitter bio, why are you requesting for Sophie to make you a new video intro? And wasting company resources and wasting her time and wasting my time and having me pay for that. Do you think that's fair or foul? Because that is so fucking selfish and ignorant. And it's exactly who that fucking guy is.
So we had the whole spat, right? And then the next day they recorded an episode. Is that what it was?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the new video intro. Sophie made them a new video intro for their new show with Bryan and DePena. And that shit took her a lot of time and effort, I can guarantee you, because that video intro is really cool. If you're going to have her spend the time, effort, and resources to make you a video intro, don't fucking sit there and quit after one episode. That is so fucking selfish and ignorant.
Right. I don't know. I've said already. I apparently, if you defend Jackson too much, you're dick riding him or you're dick eating him, according to Chad. So I'm whatever. I've already kind of said my piece. I don't want to, you know what I mean? So it's too early in the morning.
No, we're doing this for a reason.
Yes, but I don't know. That is selfish. Like I don't
so
know.
Selfish.
I don't know how, and maybe I'm not the right person, but Bryan Tann, he can turn out the noise. You can tune it out. And Max
his job is not to tune out the noise, which is another thing on my list. This guy is the head of HR at this company. How many drama and Slack beefs and things that have gone on in this company, he sits there, he ignores it. His job is actually to take care of it. His job is so I don't have to deal with it, which is why the setup is in place to begin with.
Max brought up two things, but Max brought up one good point, and I think it was like maybe the one or two things that Max said. That he's like, "Why didn't you just update your Twitter bio and went on?" Like that, and that was a great point, And it's because I think it's because Gavin.
It's the only relevant point that matters.
It's because Gavin said it, and that's the problem. And I was just like, it doesn't matter who said it. Like, it's well known that I talk shit to Scott. I don't really fuck with Scott, right? If Scott told me to do something like update my Twitter bio, I'm not gonna start a whole spiel. I'm like, oh fuck, I probably should do that shit. Like sometimes I'll admit Scott's right. Like that's okay. As a person, you need to be able to eat your own advice. Like, yeah, that's what it is. Like, I mean, like even if Scott tells me to do something like I probably should be doing, I'm like, fuck, I probably should do that shit. So I'm gonna go do it. Like you gotta admit that you're like, but. It's a Twitter bio. What was the whole point? And so I saw how mad it made Bryan Tann. So I was like, okay, well, let's try to see how mad we can get him. And I didn't really even like talk shit. I was just poking. And
none of that stuff was hateful in any way.
I didn't
playful shots.
I was proud of myself because sometimes I can be a little bit hateful, but it was just like, oh,
you weren't hateful. Nobody was hateful during that. Nobody.
Nope, except him. Like he was like, he's telling people to fuck off, go to hell, whatever. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay, it's not the first time I've been told that. So
he did that quite early off the bat as well. It was kind of like, oh yeah, straight off the bat, it was like, well, why don't you mind your own fucking business?
2 messages in.
I was like, whoa, like it. I mean, if you were going to take the bait and it casually got to that point, but Bryan was just looking for the excuse, obviously. That's the thing.
What I don't understand was like this. And the HR thing came really when All Day Jerk Off was on here, right? And then Kane, and we had an airing of grievances. I said my piece during that shit, and Kane and Bryan Tann are like, okay, we'll be the HR, and our HR approach is you can fucking figure it out. You need to figure it out. Be like, say what you have to say, figure that shit out because this shit's kind of dumb. And then here we have Bryan Tann that's really cussing everybody out because people are taking playful shots at him, whatever. That rightfully so, playful shots, and he can't handle the heat. So, like, as an HR, that'd be very hypocritical to be like, you just need to figure it out, and then not be able to figure it out because he's
never once stepped in. How many dramas have you been in, Chickster? He's never once stepped in for anybody.
Oh, it sounds bad, but I wouldn't really give a shit if you told me something. Like Prosser tries to do that sometimes, and I just ignore it and keep going anyway.
Prosser's a better HR person than he is.
Maybe Prosser should take over HR.
I think so.
But I don't know why people keep trying to do HR on me. Like I'm gonna say what I'm gonna have to say. Like that's what
which is fine. Like, that's the identity of the company.
Yeah.
The way I see it, the vets, all of the vets and Trey should be HR. Like end of. That's how it should be because we know how the site should be run. None of these new people know how the site should be run. They're coming in and they're telling us how it should be. When we've been doing what we're doing to grow the site as it is, like you've been here 2 weeks and suddenly you think you can run the site better than Trey. And it's like
it makes no sense. What I don't understand is like, man, and Trey, you hit it in cheese. Like cheese, if people haven't watched the latest cheese, they need to watch the latest cheese because you're like, no one is off limits on shots. Like nobody's
off limits.
Now the thing about it is, and you hit it again. It was like if you come at the king, you best not miss. Like I'm gonna come with the
you want to come at me? Go ahead.
Go. You better like come it. People can come at me, and people do come at me. But
again, I said this. People here are reasonable. Nobody's getting attacked just for no reason.
No. Usually it's about sports thing. She has a lot to say about the situation.
I'm sure. Max Everett, do you have people attacking you at this company just for the sake of attacking you?
No, I know of. I dare them.
Maybe they are, but I don't know about it. So it's not a problem.
I'm not aware of it. So, I mean, I don't think people just get attacked around here for no reason.
Oh, exactly. I don't really give a fuck.
I don't
exactly. If you do get attacked, who the fuck cares, man? Honestly.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, and to be fair, no one has though. Everyone and you said it's like the reasonable reasons why all day jerk off, right? People had a problem how they did business.
They're the exact same person.
I hate that I'm seeing that now as you pointed that out because I should have been able to connect that before.
just using the site? Because I take it he had a producer and everything provided by the site, so he was just.
Well, that's
From
one
what
of the things on my list.
Absolutely fucking nothing except for just talking. And I'm not being funny. That's not pulling your weight, is it? You're not writing. You're barely fucking talking well. And then you're getting Mark Izzo to actually do your show for you. It's not the Tanndemonium show. It's the Vendetta show.
Well, I almost took over the show. He was practically giving it to me. He was like, "Yeah, you take the show," and I was like, "Well, it's called the Tanndemonium." It's like, it's called the Tanndemonium show. You probably should do. I was like, "Did you consult your co-host about this? Did you do any of that?" Speaking of co-hosts, how does DePena work in all this?
You're moving on so many different things, Chickster. I have all this on my list.
I'm sorry. My brain starts moving. Like,
all right. Number one thing that was said: this guy successfully secured the easiest position in the company, to the point where if he just did his exact same thing 5 years down the line, he probably would have been given the easiest, cushiest job of all time. He would have been the HR person at a rising sports media company, and all he would have had to do is show up once a week and talk and interview some interns. It's actually fucking bananas that he would throw all of that away because Gavin told him to update his Twitter bio, and Gavin was technically correct. It's actually fucking Looney Tunes.
Yeah. His job's not hard. It's really,
and it's not like, listen, if somebody wants to quit here, I get it. How could someone possibly put 2 years worth of fucking effort in? 2 years worth to literally sit around and fucking be a part of this company and throw it all away because Gavin told him to update the Twitter bio. It's fucking crazy.
And people like
that's what leads me to think like he's not been in it for a while.
People are gonna bring Bryan Tann and Gavin had beef, and it's just like I don't even remember how that beef started. Second, it wasn't even that crazy. It was just like, hey, I don't really kind of fuck with you, I don't, and you don't fuck with me. That's cool. And then playful shots here and there.
I probably should have included this too. So one of the things I wanted to do, because Trey is very crazy, but Trey is also very smart, and people don't realize it. One of the things I wanted to do was I put out the show first, and I gave it a whole 24 hours to see if he would respond or say anything. He didn't say anything. I put out 5 clips. He didn't say anything after the first clip was published. He didn't say anything after the second clip was published. The 5th clip included him. I know for a fact he watched that clip and quit because of one 60-second portion of the show. He didn't watch the show at all. He quit because of the one clip, which proves one thing. That fucking guy goes on his show every Tuesday for 2 hours and produces no promotion for his show, no clips. He only watched my show because of the clips. Why is he not producing shows or clips for his show? I got him to watch my show based off a clip. That's why he quit. He didn't watch the episode. So it's fucking weird and strange how, maybe promoting your show gets additional people to watch it. Maybe that's a crazy idea.
Well, I mean, can we talk about his view numbers? Sometimes I look on the Twitch, 3 views, maybe 6, 7. Not great stuff.
Which is another conversation I tried to have in the podcast chat. Hey guys, the Twitch channel's not on the site anymore, which means when people read the site, you're not getting those view numbers anymore. So before, it was juicing the numbers. He'd get like 90, 100, 120 an episode. It was all people reading the site that were on there. So I said, hey guys, Twitch isn't going to be on there. You better figure out a fucking way to increase your views. So his views were in the toilet after that, obviously.
I think he just shows up and then just talks, because apparently he doesn't do his own notes. Courtney Plummer was doing his notes right there, not really chopping up, not writing down timestamps.
But that's the craziest part about it. What was his game plan? Was his game plan? The only way he was possibly going to survive any of this to make it in the end when this company's successful was doing the HR stuff, because the show, based on the effort that he puts into it, was not going to last.
For sure.
You can't just show up and talk and hope that everyone else around you makes you special.
I mean, he has a great voice, but it's not enough. A lot of people have great voices in the world. It's just like doesn't mean that.
He could have easily promoted that show into something. My dream for the show, and somebody from the company called me about it. I told that person my dream for that show, once a month, him and Jason Whitlock debate each other. That would have got butts in the seat. He would have never did it. Why? Can't dish it. Can't take it back, you know? He can dish it out. He cursed at Jason Whitlock, but Jason Whitlock says something to him. Oh, he'll fold. He's a folder. That guy's a quitter.
I think it's just kind of unoriginal just to keep cussing at people. Like you were like telling me, hey, you probably want to watch Tanndemonium. Garrett told me like you probably want to, Tan saying some stuff, and I was like, oh, I don't really give a fuck. All he's gonna do is I think he talked about my hair. I think that was pretty much it. And then he said he wasn't gonna call me Chickster. He's just gonna call me Alex Chick, which is wow. I'm so.
That's the he went on that 10-minute rant on his own show. Like he's allowed to do that. Nobody else.
Mm-mm. I get it. If you're gonna talk as a shit talker myself, if you're gonna talk shit, you got to be ready for that shit to come back. I'm ready every day. I have to be ready every day. If people talk shit,
anybody that acts like that, I don't want them at this company. And I can promise the group I will never, ever, ever fucking act like that. I will never act the way that he acted. Ever.
Mm-hmm. For sure. I've talked shit to you many times. No, sometimes it's not.
I don't care who it is. Like there could be a time, times get tough. Somebody tries to cancel us. I'm sure something will fucking happen. I'll never fold like that. Ever. I'm the fucking get in the mud guy. You ain't taking me down that fucking easy. No chance.
Mm-hmm. The cancel's coming. I don't know. I don't know what it's for. I don't know who's gonna.
It'll be the best thing that ever happens to us.
Because you're just gonna maximize that publicity. You're just gonna go like. No, that's crazy. Oh man. That's
Max,
crazy.
I tried to make suggestions in the podcast chat. I tried to get you to say some stuff. Nobody gets it. You can't just show up for 2 hours and talk and that be your only fucking thing.
Exactly. I don't get it really, because even the podcasts that do go for 2 hours and whatnot, at least they clip their shit because no one's watching. I mean, if you've got fans, then fine, but you haven't. So don't.
Well, the analytics on it are so fucking bad. The analytics on it, like the average view time was like 2 minutes.
Yeah, but he had like 10 views on his most recent episode, and I know like 6 of them were probably Gavin just trying to watch through to see if anything had been said.
Well, yeah, Gavin sent me a screenshot of him watching it just to try to see if he.
Yeah. So Vendetta boosted his views just because he's actually with us.
Yes.
Can we? Gavin, and you know what? Gavin's a good Gavin talks shit. Like he'll talk shit, and he expects it back. Like he's watching.
Absolutely.
He's like, "Go ahead. I want to see what you're saying because I'm gonna come back later on." He has no problem doing that. But he did it last. It's a mentality.
He did it last year with me over Spurs and Luton, and it was like something that shouldn't have been an argument because Luton are where. He just continued it, and I was just like, "What the fuck is going on?" He's like,
"Gavin's a great guy, though." How about when how about when I was doing those fantasy hockey articles and I was making all those gifs of Gavin's face getting slaughtered by things? Like he took it on the chin. Imagine if I would have did that to Bryan Tann, which is actually something Gavin did. The reason why Bryan hates Gavin is because he made a gif of Bryan's head exploding.
Oh, that was the whole thing that started that thing.
Remember that?
No, I don't. That's how much I don't care about it and how much he shouldn't have cared about it. It's just a shot. That's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And like, bro, Gavin took all those shots and then he said, "You know what? Trey does know a little bit about hockey." Like he made a post that he does know a little bit about.
That's how you fucking handle that shit. Yeah. By the way, there's a video coming in production. I'm not going to tell you who's making it. It's going to surprise you who's making it. But this was already in production before he quit. Tann is going to get absolutely slaughtered in a video that's coming by somebody, and it's not me.
How come? I'm mad that you haven't told me. I really want to know.
I can't tell you who it is.
You're not going
to expect it.
Okay.
And it's already in process. It's been in process.
Side rant. Shh, real quick. Side rant. Where? I'm still number one on this award, right? I got a lot of things on this award.
Gavin's closing in. And
there's no way.
When this video comes out, you might get passed. It's that good.
Is it Gavin that made it then?
Nope, it's not Gavin.
See, the thing about it is people have certain beefs with everyone, and I can have beef with anyone any given day. That sucks. Like You know what? Gavin's closing on me because he made a couple zingers towards Bryan Tann. Good, fucking well. Okay, I go shit and
Well,
shit with
listen,
everyone.
he's got to do some more things now.
All right, we'll see.
Yeah.
All I know is I was winning for 5 months of the year.
By the way,
Gavin
I want to also make something. I want to make something clear. I would have never fired him. He could have done exactly what he's been doing. I would have never fired him. He made the decision on his own to quit.
Yeah,
I mean, because
you don't fire people. You don't fire people unless it is so egregious. And I don't think you have done that. Interns don't count because when the intern, it's mutually parting ways. It's not really
because
firing
they're not doing their hours, and I have no choice.
Right. And
but
so you really haven't.
It's very rare I ever fire someone. Like I can't even. The last time people got fired was Survivor, and that wasn't me firing someone. That was a show.
That was us firing. That was a Vendetta firing. That wasn't Trey firing. You were like, here, you guys vote.
Yep.
Who gets to go home? Right. It wasn't. Oh, Trey's being the bad guy. I don't even think you had to do a tiebreaker vote. So it's not you.
One time I did.
Oh, okay. Well, even then, if you're on the list, you deserve to be fired anyway. Usually, back in the Survivor series. So that's what it was. But whatever. DePena. Yeah. Talk about DePena.
He's on my list as well. I don't know what Bryan was thinking, and I don't want to crush the kid, but that show went from acceptable, fine watch. I don't think it was a show that fucking was going to break the internet, but I don't have any problem watching it and having a good time. And depending on who the guest was, it was a acceptable show. That show was a complete and utter fucking dumpster fire with him in it.
Yeah.
I don't want to crush the kid, but man, he can't have it. Like he can't be like a primary show host here. He can do the NBA short stuff, and I'm not saying he can't get better, but that was bad.
Oh, I mean, he was a 12 out of 10 millionaire. He was worth millions.
His segment on the Boston Celtics came across as so fanboy-y, like so fanboy. And he kept saying this thing about, oh, they got to execute. That's such like a fourth grader fucking answer. Are you telling me like the Celtics aren't trying? You're telling me like, oh, if they, put in more effort, they'll start winning the games. Like, are you in third fucking grade? What are we talking about? It's like, oh, they're not executing the game plan. Steph Curry just went a whole game and he didn't make a three-pointer and they guarded him brilliantly. You tell me that's not executing the game plan? And then the game before, I actually looked this up because I thought his response was so fucking childish. The game before, when Curry went off, all of his three-pointers, according to the Spectrum shot tracking, were counted as contested shots. So the best guy in the fucking series has been guarded brilliantly, whether he's making the shots or not. Don't sit here and fucking tell me like a fourth grader they're not executing. That's so fucking pathetic. You're a sports analyst. Don't tell me they're not trying hard enough. That can't be your response.
I don't know, Trey. The Celtics might need a slap in the face. I mean, I think you've been kind of quiet in the NBA chat, so I had to figure that was a reason why. I mean, and I didn't really notice it until Gavin brought it up. He's like, "Man, it must be quiet. Celtics must be losing." And but I get it. You got to be a little bit. I mean, you got to have a little bit more analysis than that, because then you start sounding like Bryan Tann and like saying effort's the problem. But I could watch a fucking Raiders game and I'm like, yeah, this is why they're gonna fucking lose. This is why they're losing. Boom. What I've learned about football, especially since I started coaching, the more you know about football, the less you know. Because when you know a little bit, there's so much shit that you don't know about it, that one section. Like I've coached certain positions. I'm like, fuck, I really don't know that much about football.
If your number one reason for why the Celtics are losing is because they're not executing, you need to do something else.
Yeah. They're not executing the game plan.
I think saying they're not executing is fine if you're just having a conversation with your friends. But if you're actually meant to analyze these games, you're meant to point out what the fuck they're doing wrong. You're meant to analyze the game. You can't just make a statement and go, "Oh yeah, they're losing," because it's like me going, "Oh yeah, Celtic are losing to Rangers because Rangers are better than Celtic."
Well, why don't you talk about adjustments? Yeah, they fucked up here. What are your adjustments? How would you adjust now? As if I was the Celtics coach,
we can't just say, "Oh well, they're losing, so they're not executing." But hey, they're winning, so they're really executing now. Like, come on, man, that's so fucking bad. So bad.
Like this. If they only execute the game plan, we'll be fine. If we only make every shot that we ever shoot, we will win. If we
execute every shot attempt we take, we'll win the game.
It does also suggest that the game plan is infallible. So what you're saying is it's the players' fault. It can't possibly be the coach has got a shit game plan or anything like that. It's purely got to be the players just aren't following it. They're not getting it. They train all week for it, but in this one game where it fucking matters, they forget about it completely.
Trey, you did this during the Celtics and Bucks. You're like, put Marcus Smart on Giannis, see how it works out. That would be like if I was making a video about what the Celtics need to do. Okay, let's start different matchups.
There's different things you can talk about. Like you brought up Marcus Smart. How about how many times they put him in the post? Like when he's in the post, he actually makes plays and scores because he's such a thick body down there. That's fucking analysis. Don't tell me, oh, they're not executing. That's bad, man. That's just awful.
They're not executing correctly. Sorry. It's all right. You got to think, especially as a game analysis. We don't, because the whole thing with Vendetta is that we don't want to be like those guys at ESPN where Stephen A. Smith says they're not executing. Well, no fucking shit, right? Like, obviously. Or,
Stephen A. Smith gets hammered every day by JJ Redick and CJ McCollum.
Everyone loves JJ Redick. You know why? Because he's bringing actual basketball analysis, right?
Yeah.
And so, like, people I don't really like Draymond Green as a player, but as
which is the craziest part. Like, Tann and those guys are going to talk shit on Stephen A. Smith. That's who you are.
Yeah. Like, just because, like, saying Kaepernick has a chance,
pathetic.
with QB drama, and that is literally reactionary. Like, that is so reactionary. That is so saying, oh,
what was his other point? Oh, Deshaun Watson. Like, you don't have any of the legal information. Why are you speaking about it?
I don't know enough about it. I just know that there's allegations and stuff. I know he's been found not guilty. There's no allegations, but
we have a conversation about it then. Don't fucking sit there and talk about it every week just because you're a Steelers fan and you want the Browns to lose. Because that's what he's doing.
Well, I mean, I think any QB they might bring in, whether it's Deshaun Watson or a different one, is going to be better than Mitch Trubisky. But that's analysis for you. So, but Steelers fans love him. They wanted Mitch.
Right. Couple other things. The Josh Taylor quiz will be in effect. I still love Josh Taylor. If we can remain his friend, that would be great. Just want to add that note in. Small note. Whatever it is, the quiz will remain in effect. I just hope that is clear.
Well, we'll see. I don't know. I don't know if he was he a Tann guy or a Trey guy? I think that matters.
Tann's his childhood friend. So
no shit. Wow.
Yeah,
I'm sure why? Because I don't watch the show.
I'm sure he's a Tann guy, but there's just like, even if Tann was my friend, I would not support him on this. So. If he wants to have his friends back, that's totally understandable. But I would love nothing more than for him to be a recurring guest on our platforms.
Fair enough.
But just because he's friends doesn't mean that he has to pack this in. That's the thing.
Yeah.
That's one thing I've never understood. How I should leave a place. That's bollocks.
Yeah. There's a clip in the Chickster. I don't know if you've seen it. Winning Time.
I haven't watched it yet. I need to.
There's a clip in the show where Magic Johnson wants to break up with his girlfriend, but his dad's his agent. Her dad's the agent, and he's like, "Hey, so I don't really like your daughter, but like," and the dad's like, "No reason why we have to break up." Hey,
to be fair, if I was an agent of Magic Johnson, though, I mean, what people don't realize, Magic Johnson was the Michael Jordan at that time. That's like Magic Johnson was it. Like that was that guy. So if I was an agent of Magic
very, very clear. I have nothing but respect and admiration for Josh Taylor. His quiz will still be part of the company, and if he ever wants to come back on any of the shows, he is more than welcome to do so.
Awesome.
Which if Bryan Tann wants to come and defend himself, he's gladly willing to do so as well. I just know that won't be the case because he's a quitter and he will roll over if you give it back to him and let you pet his belly.
Or he'll just cuss at you for 20 minutes.
Right.
Which doesn't really provide any kind of substance. It's just, I mean, any fucking fourth grader can be like, fuck you, fuck this, whatever, fuck you. And then I'm like, okay, cool. Like, bring a little more substance to me. Like, really talk shit to me. Like, keep it. Don't be personal, but like, talk shit to me. That's okay. I'm cool with that. When it starts getting personal, that's when I get pissed off. Like, that's why I got pissed off at Scott. Like, don't make that shit personal. I will make that shit personal too. So, but whatever. Not everyone can talk shit like me.
I got one more thing in the list and we can wrap up.
Cool.
How do we fill the time slot? Do we need to fill the time slot? What should we do about the future shows of the company? How do we go forth replacing it? Give me any old ideas that you got.
So my first thing is to say, man, we really and Max has really talked about it, you've talked about, we really need to get this Twitch going. It needs to be being played all. Now that's one of my ideas. Like, we need to start streaming and have it be on consistent. Hopefully we can get people's schedules and do that. I've talked about doing it. I'm part of that group that needs to, hey, get your fucking schedule straight. Now, poetically, this is poetic justice. Give it to Jackson Law. That should be Jackson Law's time slot. It's just because, you know what I mean? Just be like, you know what? This is what you're missing. You did this to Jackson. Jackson gets your time slot. Fuck you. That's what it is. But
one of the ideas I had is maybe I'll take the time slot. I'll do the Q&A once a week, and then
like the Q&A.
We like the Q&A. I think it's good. People get to ask questions. I answer them. It's kind of like a cheese after show. It can go live. So that's the kind of idea I had for it, because personally, in my opinion, I don't think people should be wasting their time doing these 2-hour shows. I think it's too big of a commitment. I think we don't have the resources for it. In terms of getting video content out, I think Jackson has the right idea. And for when his show comes out, I don't think it should go any longer than 30 minutes. And every single segment that's in there should be cut up into its own individual video.
The shorts, I don't know if people at the site have been, watching, but the shorts are getting a lot of views. We're getting a lot more subscribers because the videos are shorter. Like, if you're on YouTube and you're just browsing, you're like, man, this is a 2-hour long fucking video. Oh, this one's 30 minutes.
Why do you think I started doing those 4 years ago?
I got 30 minutes. Yeah, I got 30 minutes. I can go watch that right quick. Or I had a 10-minute video on this. Very simple.
5 minutes.
5-minute video on the Celtics. Oh, I can watch that. I have time to watch that right quick. And then, from there, you just keep going. It's a rabbit hole. I've got caught down the YouTube rabbit hole.
If you break that 2 hours up, you get multiple different clips and multiple different headlines. You have one headline, and then people are looking at it thinking, well, that headline's shit. I'm not going to spend 2 hours watching it. But if they scroll through and you've created separate ones, they could go, oh, 5 minutes. And then just click on that, and straight away, that's where it starts. Like, oh, that was good. Let's check the next one. But there's none of that. There's no awareness. It's just let's record for 2 hours and what else?
This kind of goes against what Trey's saying right now with the shorts and stuff. But even if you do a 2-hour show, let people know your topics in that 2 hour. Like, hey, at this point is this. That is something small. I don't believe they did. Timestamps. Timestamps. But that's what I mean. Even if you don't want to do the shorts, you don't want to be like, hey, get your video editor to do this, make the clips of this. It's like, okay, here's the timestamps. Here's what we're talking about. Here is what. Can't have that. It's 2 hours of let's just figure out what we're talking about.
And there was no transitions in that show. Let's go to the NFL. Let's go to NHL.
Yeah.
There's no creative segments. There's no quirky things. There's no innovation. There's nothing unique about it.
When you told me about the Kaepernick thing, you had to tell me the exact spot where it was at. Because I promise you, if you said, hey, he said something about Kaepernick in there taking over the Raiders, I wouldn't have watched 2 hours of it to try to fucking find it.
No,
I wouldn't have. The only reason why I stayed, I watched the Kaepernick thing and I watched a little bit after that is because Mark Izzo was talking and because he was actually kind of interesting. So,
what should we do about Mark Izzo?
Mark Izzo, I think if you're Mark Izzo needs to be watching this. Mark Izzo, I would start trying to get more shots in or try to get more, get on the camera more. I think for
I was impressed with Mark Izzo. I think Mark Izzo should be assigned to now help Jackson Law.
I don't think that, like, you know what? He had a really good debut. I think he needs to start doing some. I don't know. I know he does
I thought
NFL,
what
but
he said about Kaepernick was a little crazy, but like I think he was just trying to agree. But
he wasn't bad though. He wasn't bad. Like, so I think he needs to get on some NFL shorts. Something we need to do. NBA. I don't know what sports he does.
he wants to start doing some WWE articles.
That would be WWE shorts would actually do pretty well. I'm pretty sure on the YouTube.
Probably.
So you know, like, get on the camera. Like he should get on the camera. He's not bad. I like him.
Yeah.
Not related to Tom Izzo. That's his downfall right now. That's what. Yeah, you got to do better. If you're gonna have the last name, you might as well just be related, and then you got to tell people.
I think Mark should now be in charge of helping whatever Jackson Law needs. He has some video editing skills too, so that should be able to help him in terms of the short and cutting things up. If Mark wants to go ahead and talk on Jackson's show, I think that would be encouraged every once in a while.
That's Jackson's decision.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, he doesn't have to hide him in the fucking corner if he wants to. Like, he can include him, and
that is Jackson's decision.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, so stop.
But I don't think he's gonna hide him in the corner either.
Jackson's decision. Oh, sorry, I'm dick eating too much. Sorry, I can't defend Jackson Law no more. Apparently it's dick eating. Sorry, Chad. My bad, Chad. He's not even gonna watch this shit, so I ain't even worried about it. He only watches when people tell him to watch it. So whatever. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, just to recap on Tann, I'll end it with this. I have lost all respect for that guy. He has proven that he is basically the all-day jerk-off crew clone. That's all that guy is. The idea that after 2 years he was willing to throw all of it away after he had already secured the cushiest job at the company because he didn't even do his own research, which is part of the Josh Taylor quiz, research the company that you work for. He decided that he's going to quit based off a 60-second segment in the show that he didn't watch is complete and utterly pathetic.
Yep. That pretty much hits all the, like, you can't talk shit and not be able to, like, if you
can't
no one's
talk shit and not be able to take it. And which is the best part about this is I have all the information I need because anybody that's willing to do that to Sophie Sargent and waste her fucking time is so fucking selfish and ignorant. I don't want them as part of this company anyway.
Like, no one's talking shit to Andrew McGinnis, but Andrew McGinnis doesn't talk shit. Like, Andrew McGinnis is really unproblematic, does very good hockey guy. You know what? Doesn't talk shit. No one talks shit to him.
If Animal was smart, he would have used this drama to his advantage, and more people would have watched his show.
All he did was
about how he doesn't have the bandwidth to handle the drama. That just means you admitted that you're fucking stupid.
I don't know. He took shots all day, and then as soon as anyone else takes shots.
All day, use those words.
Wow. So there you go. That just tells you everything you need to know.
Okay, last thing before we wrap up. Gaming section, Max Everett. It's getting better. We're making progress. The gaming blogs are getting done.
Yes.
Coach of the year. Coach of the year.
Nah, it's them. They're great to work with. Anthony needs a bit of work. So does Seabass right now. But they're good, really. There's a fly around there and it just wants to attack me. But yeah, no, the gaming section is coming along. It's all I can ask for. I just need more writers. I mean, my little brother contributes. He's got a few actually I need to edit.
He's done well.
Yeah, I mean the PS2 review saw it got decent views, and I was like, I told him, and he was over the moon. He's only 14, so
yeah, he's 14 and he's writing.
That's
yeah, exactly. He's happy.
Oh, good for him.
All I know is Max Everett came from out of nowhere and coached his fucking ass off. And I was like,
that's going in the awards this year. Coach of the year. Max Everett has already secured that.
Like, Max, that first week you were doing that, I was talking to Trey. I was like, this guy is fucking, like, he is the coach of the, like, he's the,
no idea how much
of the year. Like, it was like a daily conversation for a week, and I was like, there goes my boy Max Everett. Max Everett's just coaching his ass off. He's like, do this shit right now. Like, I was like, damn. I'm with that.
That's the thing is, I promised I would last draft. I said to Trey, like, I'm not involved in a draft, and he was like, well, you're not right. And I was like, you watch. When you give me the chance, I'll run with it. Now I'm in charge, social media and everything. It's fucking nuts.
Yeah. How you like that, Trey? How you like that? He put his nuts on the table and he said, "Watch this shit." That's what it is.
That's the way you handle shit around here.
Carl Heiser did that shit. He was like this. He thought, "I don't think I need to wait for editors. My pieces are good enough that I could just post them." And
How about Carl's Chris Middleton thing? We want to talk about shows.
That was awesome. That was awesome.
We want to talk about shows and shit. How good of a job have they done with their TikTok account? Piggybacking off of their episodes and shit. That Chris Middleton video was fucking hilarious.
Well, and then on TikTok, and you were talking about.
I wrote an article about the video that it was that good.
And then you were talking about being innovative, right?
Yeah.
Carl's doing TikTok. He's making TikTok filters and using them, like doing all that. Like people like to watch that on TikTok. That's what it is.
That's the craziest part I don't understand about this Tanndemonium guy. What the fuck did he think was gonna happen? Like, he put no effort into his own show. He showed up and talked. He had other people create 3 hours worth of notes for him. There was no promotion. He didn't put the show on the site. He didn't make any clips for the site. He didn't make any clips for social media, for TikTok, for Instagram, Twitter. He did nothing except show up and talk.
What makes me laugh is like Garrett, man. He when Garrett was like, helping out, he's like, "Hey, you got my stuff ready?" Like 5 minutes before the show, and Garrett was like,
"The self-entitlement shit was fucking insane." Like, we don't have the resources for all the things he's fucking demanding.
At some point, you're gonna have to put a little. I'm not telling people to write my post for me. You know what I mean? Like, no one tells you to write posts. Like, I don't do that. I go in there
for the show. I'm gonna edit this one because I want it out quick.
Trey, I'm not gonna be like, "Hey, I got this post done. I've written all of it. Go ahead and handle all the SEO stuff for me. Thanks, appreciate it."
No chance.
And I don't do that shit, and you don't do that shit for nobody. Like you're just like, no, your SEO. If there's one thing wrong with the SEO, they better go back and fucking fix it.
Yeah, I ain't doing
That's what it is. Yeah, it's just like, no, you know what I mean? It's like, whatever.
I'm a dentist. I add a couple links. If I think something needs to be in there, I'll fucking get rid of the permalink stuff. But other than that, I'm a dentist. I'm counting teeth, and that's it.
Yeah, we're making sure everything's good on SEO wise. Boom, go. That's it. Whatever. Who knows? I don't know.
All right. Any final thoughts?
Poetic justice. That's it. Poetic justice. That's all it is.
Max, any final thoughts?
Not really. I think I'm glad it's over and we can move on and start just doing shit right as well. Because everyone wants to do what they want without doing what needs to be done, and no one gives a flying fuck what you want to be doing. You need to be doing what you need to do, and then when you want to do what you want to do that as long as what you need to do is done. I couldn't come home from school and play the PlayStation before I did work. I've got to do one after the other. End of. So if you wanna do your weird post like Eli did his why Israel's the next NFL marketing expansion, that's unacceptable doing that. And then when I'm going to do the news post, you turn around and going, "Oh shit, sorry, I was busy." But you can write about fucking Israel and the NFL, which is never fucking happening.
Right.
But you can't talk about literally a quarterback being signed.
Which a lot of those news posts are done for you. Literally, introduction, quote, conclusion, done.
I will say there's been a much better team effort in terms of claiming the news. There's always something to read now, which is a good sign. People are actually buying in and claiming some of this stuff. I don't think we're hitting 100% of them, but I think we've made a ton of progress when it comes to hitting the news posts. And Max definitely hit the nail on the head. The topics they come up with are way worse than the ones that are provided for them.
And the thing is, they wouldn't be that bad, but if you're a site that's got the traffic to begin with, and you do these little articles, someone's already on going, "Oh shit, Deshaun Watson," and they're checking that, and then they see a related post and go, "All right, let's give it a click. It's a 2-minute read," and that's how it works. Yeah. But no one's actually scrolling through and then seeing all the breaking news, which is so exciting, and then why Israel might be the next NFL market expansion. Now, I'm using that as a prime example because I did kind of go, "What the fuck?" when he decided to leave.
I think a lot of people went, "What the fuck?"
Well, because he said, "Oh, I want to do this post." I was like, "Oh, that's fine as long as you get the news post." Like, "Oh, yeah, I will. I signed in one piece and it took a couple of days to get it done. And
no, you didn't get it done.
He didn't even do it. It was fucking easy. 5 WWE stars who've been in football. Like
the Israel post was the only one Eli did.
And that's nuts as well, because I gave you all the information you need. I give titles. I give, in some instances, I make your cover images for you. The only thing I expect you to do is write 300 words. But even for the gaming guys, I said it to him, just attach another article inside the piece, because sometimes it's a little news piece and it's
you only got to write literally like 250. You can get away with like copying. Hey, here's subscribe to the YouTube, or here's a quote I can throw in, or here's a cap for photo.
My thing for H4, it should always be relevant. So what I said to the gaming team, especially, and I mean it can be applicable anywhere, is you can't plagiarize what's on Vendetta as long as you're giving the correct links to the other authors. End of.
Yeah.
So if you've done the first part and it's Resident Evil, certain characters have been added to the extra content. That's what 3 paragraphs. There's no way you're going to squeeze any more out of it, because otherwise the reader's going to be reading it and going, what the fuck? They'll read the news, and then the bottom half is another article actually in there. But as long as you source the article and you say the original article's here by this person and then link them, that's fine, because you've actually credited the site and it's continuing with the content.
Yeah.
So that's easy, and I think that's a really good thing just to implement, because I mean, especially if you've done like off-season guides, you can literally have a second off-season guide on the bottom and attach it. But that was an example. But it's easy when you use your brain. Obviously, don't do what Anthony does, where you embed the fucking where you've got the news from, because it was kind of like, oh yeah, IGN wrote this article and I'm writing an article about IGN writing the article, and I was kind of like, it felt like obvious to me, but I will say it now, don't do that, please, because there's no point, because IGN will turn around and go, what the fuck are you doing? You're claiming to be a news site, and it's all right now, but when we want to start advertising and monetizing content, that's when people are going to start going, oh, what the fuck? Because that's literally going, oh yeah, IGN wrote this article, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to summarize this article and attach IGN's article for you to click on and get the rest of the information from.
Crazy.
But it's a Facebook post, pretty much.
Yeah, he needs some help. All right, I think that's a good place to wrap up.
He's learning.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. That's a good place to wrap up. Thank you, Chickster. Thank you, Max Everett. Make sure to follow them. I don't even know what your Twitter is, Max Everett. It's just Max Everett.
It's at Max Everett _10. That's
okay.
It.
Follow him, Chickster. That's his Twitter, actually. Myself, Trey Daubert. Hit that subscribe button on YouTube. Thank you guys for watching, and we will